What up, everybody? This is OP here in the Serato studio in Brooklyn, and we're here today to talk about the new release of Serato DJ Pro 2.3.3, which you can download right now, and it supports this thing right here, the Pioneer DJ XDJ-XZ controller. So let's talk about the build and some of the features here on this incredible controller. So the first thing is this, the build on this is super solid. It feels really great. You have the full large size platters that you see on a normal CDJ. You also have the pad modes that are here for your hot cues and your loops and other things. We're gonna talk about that relatively soon. You also have a mic section that's up here, which also now includes a feedback reducer. So you can adjust how your mics are working. If you're getting feedback, you can do some light reduction or some heavy reduction here. You also have your 4-channel mixer, standard that you would see with a regular club mixer. So your EQs, your gain, your sound coloring effects that are here. You also have your beat effects that are here with your effects frequencies and all the rest of that. On this side up here, you have your master section. So again, you have your EQs here for your channels, but you also have a master EQ section here as well. So you can EQ here, but if you want to EQ the overall sound coming out the controller, you can do that here. On the back, you have one USB port that goes directly to Serato DJ Pro. You also have inputs for line and for also phono inputs. So on here, I have 2 turntables set up for DVS to be able to play Serato with for decks 3 and 4. But if I also wanted to play regular vinyl, I could do that here through the mixer. And the most impressive thing that's here on this controller is the screen that's here. This screen is the first time on a controller or any type of player that Pioneer's put out where you get the full colored waveforms from Serato directly inside the screen. This is great. So as you see here, we have the full colors of Serato here for the waveforms. You also have your beat grids that are here. You have cue points and a bunch of other information. Below that, you have the track information and also an overview of the song. And also inside the platter, you get the overview of the song along with the cue points and also some of the artwork if you have that there too. Please note that this has an IEC cable here. So this is a standard cable that you would have for a regular DJ mixer. This is great because it's not a custom cable that some other controllers come with, meaning that if you lose that one, you have to go buy a new one, which might cost money and take a bit of time. This you can go buy at any store and plug in and you're good to go. So this is easily replaceable, which is great. Okay, so we're loaded up and now we're gonna connect it to Serato. So we're gonna go here to where it says link and we're gonna press on link and now it's gonna say control mode. So with this set, we're gonna go here to load for 1 and this is going to connect Serato for deck 1 with the controller. And now the same thing here for 2, pressing it and it's gonna load the same thing for deck 2. Now I'm fully connected. And you can see this in a couple of ways. The first way is that you see the waveforms here directly on the screen. The second is that under each deck, deck 1 and deck 2, it tells you that you're connected to Serato. You see Serato there. So let's talk about loading a track. I've already had tracks loaded here, but I'm gonna browse to my library to find something else. I'm gonna go to browse to get to my crates, and I'm gonna scroll down and I'm going to press on the encoder. I have the track that I want to load up and I can press load for deck 1 and do the same thing for deck 2 and it's good to go. So one of the great things about this controller is that you can do 4-deck DJing. Now if you're just using the USB sticks with music on it, you can only DJ with 2 channels. But with Serato DJ Pro, you can do 4-deck DJing, which can happen with 4 decks using the platters, or you can do deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, and deck 4 using turntables with DVS. So let's show you how this connection happens, okay? The first thing is this. I want to get to deck 3 on this side, just using the platters. So I'm gonna come here to shift, and I'm gonna press shift twice. And when I do that, deck 1 in the screen now turns to deck 3. If you're looking inside of Serato, instead of it being deck 1 on the left side, it's now gonna be deck 3 and it's gonna be empty. And now I can go in and load a track. So if I go to browse, I can now go to browse and I can find another track to load in and I can press load for 1 here. And you see that on the controller, it's not lit up, meaning that I can now load a track in. So when I press it, it loads up And there you go for deck 3. On this side, on the right side, I'm gonna press shift twice. And now that's gonna get me to deck 4. And again, inside of Serato DJ Pro, you see that it's highlighted, and now I can go back to browse again, take that same instrumental, and instead of, again, pressing the encoder knob, I'm gonna come over here to load and press it here. And now it loads up. And on this side again, with the volume up on channel 4, there it is playing, right? So I could have channels 1 and 2 playing something, and also channels 3 and 4 playing something as well. If I wanted to get back to channel 1 and channel 2, on this side for channel 1, I'm gonna press shift again twice, and now deck 1 shows up on the screen along with the waveform, and on the other side, press shift again and back to deck 2. The great thing about the screen again is that it's gonna tell you which deck that you're on when you are playing. Having 4 decks to play with just using the platters is great. But let's say that you wanna have the turntable set up, you wanna do some cutting, you wanna use DVS. So what you do is inside of Serato DJ Pro, you're gonna set up decks 3 and deck 4 for relative mode. Right now they're internal mode, and we're gonna switch them over to relative mode. So inside the screen, we're gonna switch over from internal to relative for deck 3, and also the same thing for deck 4. Cool. So now when I double click here, just so I can see what's happening on the screen for deck 3 and also for deck 4, that's now gonna be DVS. And the same thing over here. Right? So I could have decks 1 and 2 playing on the platters, and then decks 3 and 4 playing on the turntables with DVS. So as I was saying earlier, this controller comes with one USB port that connects to Serato DJ Pro. But if you want to add another DJ using Serato DJ Pro to do a switchover, the best way to do that is using a USB stick with music on it. And I'm going to show you how that switchover works. So if I have this song playing here, on deck 2, I'm going to put a song from the USB stick to make the transfer happen. So I'm gonna go to USB 1, where the music is at, and here I have a folder of music, and I'm going to now load this song in to deck 2. And when I press it, it says PC connected, load track again, or push back button to cancel. I don't wanna cancel, I wanna load the song in from the USB stick. So I'm now gonna press 2 where it's flashing, and now it's gonna load that song from the USB stick onto this platter here. So here, I'm just gonna rewind back, and I'll just fade this out just to make it really quick and easy to see. And now this is playing from the USB stick. So now I can stop the platter here, and I can disconnect Serato DJ Pro from the computer. I'll do it from the back here. Now imagine I have another computer. I can now swap that computer, plug in that computer, and now plug it back in here on the back. Now, to make the connection happen again, I'm gonna go to where it says link, and I'm gonna push to load button for deck 1 here. And now Serato's loaded up and it's good to go. So again, I can start that process. So I'm just gonna do a quick little fade, and now the second computer is connected and it's good to go. So now that I have deck 1 loaded with Serato DJ Pro with a track, I want to now do the same thing with deck 2. So here you see that the load button's flashing for deck 2. So I'm going to now, instead of having the song playing from the USB, I'm going to press this here, and it's going to say now playing, push rotary to select and continue, or push back button to cancel. I'm just going to press this again, and now it's going to have it loaded up and it's good to go. Deck 1 for Serato, and also deck 2 for Serato as well. There you go, and you're good to go. So again, it's super exciting to know that this is the first controller that Pioneer's made that has the full waveforms for Serato right here on the screen. And if you want to change the view of the screen for the waveforms, whether seeing them a little bit tighter or a little more expanded out, you can use the encoder knob here, and as you turn them, you can zoom in and zoom out on the waveforms, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about the pad modes. So the first one is hot cue. You have 8 hot cues that you can use on your track. I have 3 of them here. I can trigger them and play them as I need to. You can make more if you want to. Pretty simple. Now here for beat loop, this is actually our auto loop inside of Serato DJ Pro, right? So here I have my top row here for my loops. So if I'm playing a track, I can press it and it's now gonna be a 16th of a loop. I can go up to an 1/8, I can go to a 4th and a 1/2, and I can now change that range by going up here to change the size of the loop. Pretty simple. And then right below that is gonna be my beat jumps. Now if I go to slip loop here, this is where I'm gonna have my loop rolls. So again, I'm playing the track. So I can basically have the track loop in a certain place for a certain size of the loop, and then jump back into place in the song where it should have been had I not done the loop. The next pad mode here is for beat jump, but instead of beat jump, this is gonna be for the sampler. So remember, when you're playing with this with Serato connected, beat jump is gonna be for your sampler, it's not gonna be for beat jump. Now if I go press shift and go to hot cue, this is now gonna be for activating your flips. So if you had some flips set on your tracks, you can now trigger them here in this mode, right? If I hold down shift and go to beat loop, this is now gonna be for the slicer. So I can go through and slice up the track as it's playing. If I hold down shift again and press slip loop, this is going to be for the loop slicer. So it's gonna make a 2-bar loop, and then I'm gonna be able to slice within that 2-bar loop. And if I go to shift one more time and go to beat jump, this is going to get me into pitch play. So now with pitch play, I'm able to do pitch play. And if I hold down shift, I can choose the cue point that I want to have for pitch play. So those are the pad mode features on the controller. So the last thing to talk about is how you can adjust the curve here for the mixer. So I'm gonna go here to menu to get to the utility. So I'm gonna hold down on menu, and now it gets me into the utility, and I'm gonna scroll down to get to the mixer section, and under the mixer section I have the crossfader curve. So when I press on the encoder, I can change it from curve 1, which is gonna be sharp. I'm gonna have more of a gradual curve, which is curve 2, and then a longer curve, which is gonna be curve 3. I'm gonna put this back to curve 1 and press it, and now I'm gonna go back to browse, and now back to my screen, and just a bit of test that. You can see how sharp that is, so it's easy to make that happen. So that's a quick overview on the new Pioneer DJ XDJ-XZ controller. This thing's amazing. Remember, the screen here now has the full waveforms for Serato DJ Pro. Full color, you see your cue points, your beat grids, all information for your tracks directly here on the screen, plus you can browse your tracks and load them in. 4-deck DJing, whether you're using the platters or using DVS with turntables, you can make 4-deck DJing happen. Again, with the platters, you have the full waveform overview inside of it, plus the artwork, and a bunch of other things. This is the XDJ-XZ controller available right now, and it works with Serato DJ Pro 2.3.3, which is available right now for you to download from the website. My name is OP, Artist Relations Manager for Serato, and we're gonna check you next time. Peace.